The echo of alarms filled the command center of the Zyra Federation's flagship, the Starfire. High above planet Zathos, the ship hovered like an ominous shadow against the brilliant backdrop of 1,000 glittering stars. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with tension as the crew prepared for an unprecedented mission. General Lyra, a fierce and commanding leader with short silver hair and piercing emerald eyes, stood at the helm, staring at the massive holographic display before her. "Listen up," she called, her voice slicing to the murmur of anxious soldiers. "The Empire has struck first. Their last attack on our colony world of Orendil left us with no choice. We will summon our strength and venture into their territory. We take the fight to them." Her words ignited a fire in the hearts of her crew. Among them was First Lieutenant Kale, a young pilot known for his quick thinking and bravery. He exchanged glances with Sergeant Mira, a weapons specialist who had lost family during the Empire's relentless expansions. The anger and determination in her eyes matched Lyra's fierce resolve. "We got their coordinates," Mira stated, tapping on her console. "The Empire's base on Varnes is heavily fortified. If we want to launch a surprise attack, we need to be careful. We will not let fear hold us back," General Lyra asserted. "The Empire thinks they can bully us into submission. They hit Earth first. Now we are coming for them." Her gaze hardened as her words hung in the air, like a weighty promise. As the Starfire approached Varnes, it hummed with energy. The crew gathered in the war room. The atmosphere was heavy with shared purpose, each member of the team understanding what was at stake. The holographic map showed the Empire's defenses, a labyrinth of walls, turrets, and patrolling ships. 3 distinct phases of attack, Kale suggested, his voice steady. "We create diversions while our ground team infiltrates their base." Mira nodded, already plotting the trajectories. "We could use the Old Canyon route. It's narrow enough for stealth, and they won't expect us from there." Lyra smiled. "Exactly. We strike fast and hard, take out their communication tower first. Let them know we will not back down." As they finalized their plan, the ship shook suddenly. Alarms blared, and red lights flickered ominously throughout the Starfire. "Incoming fire!" shouted Kale. "They've spotted us." Lyra sprang into action. "Battle stations. Prepare to engage." The crew moved swiftly, a well-rehearsed dance of soldiers. Kale took the controls, guiding the ship with deft movements as blaster fire rained against the hull. Mira worked to coordinate their defenses, while also setting up the counterattack. "Return fire," Lyra commanded, her voice ringing through the chaos. "We won't let them intimidate us." As the Starfire engaged in a dangerous dance of maneuvers, Kale's heart raced. He could feel the heat of the blasters outside, the tension pouring through the ship like electricity. As he took out an enemy craft, he caught sight of a massive dreadnought emerging from the shadows, the Empire's flagship. Panic flickered in his chest, but he stilled it. "We need to hurry with our ground team." Kale yelled over the commotion. The Starfire shook again, but the crew was relentless. After moments that felt like hours, they secured a narrow opening and deployed the ground team, led by Lyra herself. The troops slid into their stealth suits, practical and efficient, moving with silent grace toward their target. As they neared the perimeter of the Empire base, Lyra signaled for silence, her finger pressed tightly against her lips. The silence hung heavy, interrupted only by the distant rumble of machinery. Lights flickered intermittently ahead, indicating guard patrols. Suddenly, a guard spotted them. "Intruders!" he shouted, swinging his blaster toward the team. "Move!" Lyra barked. The team erupted into action, neutralizing the guard before he could call for help. Heart pounding, they continued forward, silently taking out several guards in quick succession. Mira, ever the expert, reached the communication tower just in time. "I'm on it," she confirmed, her fingers dancing across the console. "I'll disable their signal, but we need to hold off reinforcements." As Mira worked, the sound of footsteps echoed in the corridor. The team braced for the inevitable confrontation, a wave of soldiers running toward them. "Here they come." Kale shouted, adrenaline spiking. The team set up a defensive line, prepared for the fight of their lives. Lasers filled the air as they engaged the enemy, shouts mingling with the thuds of bodies hitting the ground. Lyra fought fiercely, driving her sword to the enemy ranks, her determination unyielding. She felt connected to her people, to her home of Zathos, knowing that each strike was for everyone who had suffered due to the Empire's brutality. Amid the chaos, an enemy officer emerged, a towering figure clad in dark armor. He brandished a massive energy blade, storming toward Lyra with the ferocity of a beast. Their eyes locked, and for a moment, the world around them faded. "You think you can defeat the Empire? You will fail," he spat. Lyra's resolve tightened. "We will not fail. We fight for our freedom." With that, she charged forward, their blades clashing in a spectacular spray of energy. The battle raged, and Kale watched in awe as Lyra held her ground against the officer. But then, he saw reinforcements flooding in, overwhelming their numbers. "Lyra," he called, urgency in his voice. "We can't hold them off much longer." In that moment, Mira succeeded. With a triumphant shout, she disabled the communication tower. The lights flickered as the Empire's calls for reinforcements fell silent. Lyra, seizing the opportunity, pushed forward, driving the officer back. "We are not just a number in your empire. We are warriors of Zyra." With a final strike, she disarmed the officer, knocking him to the ground. He lay defeated as she pointed her sword at him. "Tell your leaders, we are coming for them." As their mission succeeded, the team regrouped, exhausted but proud. They escaped the base just as the tide began to turn, a glimmer of victory illuminating the dark space of uncertainty. Back aboard the Starfire, the crew gathered to celebrate their triumph, but Lyra's eyes remained focused on the stars beyond. As they prepared for their next move, she knew the fight was far from over. The message was clear. The Zyra Federation would stand strong, and the Empire would learn the true meaning of defiance. General Zara, a brave and strategic military leader. Commander Rex, Zara's loyal and skilled second-in-command. Elora, a brilliant young scientist working with the Earth forces. Emperor Valker, the ruthless leader of the invading Empire. The communication screen flickered, displaying the menacing face of Emperor Valker. His eyes, cold and reptilian, stared down at General Zara. Behind him stood ranks of armored soldiers, their weapons glinting under the harsh light of their warship. "Earthlings," Valker's voice boomed, resonating with a chilling echo. "You have dared to strike at the heart of the Valkorian Empire, an act of aggression that cannot and will not be forgiven." Zara stood tall, her gaze unwavering. Beside her, Commander Rex clenched his fists, his knuckles white. They both knew what this meant. War. A war they had initiated, but a war they had to win. "You came to our planet first, Valker," Zara retorted, her voice firm despite the tremor in the pit of her stomach. "You poisoned our skies, plundered our resources, and enslaved our people. We simply returned the favor." Valker laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "Insolence. You are but a speck of dust compared to the might of the Valkorian Empire. Your little rebellion will be crushed, and your planet will be reduced to ashes." Zara's expression hardened. "You hit Earth first. Now we are coming for you," she warned, her voice filled with a fierce determination. The screen went black. The bridge of the Earth Defense cruiser, Hope, buzzed with activity. Alarms blared and officers shouted orders, their voices barely audible over the din. Rex turned to Zara, his face grim. "They're mobilizing their fleet, General. We have reports of multiple warships heading towards our outer colonies. Prepare for immediate departure," Zara commanded. "We need to warn the colonies and reinforce our defenses. Elora, how is the quantum drive coming along?" Elora, a young scientist with fiery red hair pulled back in a messy bun, rushed to the command console. "Almost ready, General," she replied, her fingers flying across the holographic keyboard. "Just need a few more minutes to calibrate the navigation system. This is the first time we're attempting a jump of this magnitude." The quantum drive was Earth's secret weapon, a revolutionary technology that allowed for near-instantaneous travel across vast distances. It was her only hope of striking back at the Valkorian Empire, whose homeworld was located in a distant, heavily guarded star system. "We don't have a few more minutes, Elora," Zara said, her voice laced with urgency. "Every second counts. Do what you can." As the Hope engaged its sublight engines, Zara addressed the crew. We are the shield of Earth. We are the last line of defense against a ruthless enemy. We will fight for our planet, for our freedom, and for the future of humanity. We will not yield. We will not break. We will prevail. The crew responded with thunderous roar, their faces filled with a mixture of fear and determination. Zara knew that many of them would not survive this war, but she also knew that they were ready to give their lives for a cause greater than themselves. The Hope raced towards the outer colonies, intercepting a distress signal along the way. A small transport ship, the Stardust, was under attack by Valkorian fighters. Without hesitation, Zara ordered the Hope to engage. The battle was fierce and chaotic. The Hope, though outgunned and outnumbered, fought with ferocity that surprised the Valkorians. Rex expertly maneuvered the cruiser, dodging enemy fire and unleashing a barrage of plasma cannons. Zara coordinated the defense, her tactical brilliance evident in every command. Despite their efforts, the Stardust was critically damaged. Before it could be destroyed, the Hope managed to tractor beam the survivors aboard. Among them was a young girl, no older than 10, clutching a tattered teddy bear. Zara knelt down beside her, her heart aching at the sight of the child's terror. "It's okay," she said gently. "You're safe now." The girl looked up at Zara, her eyes wide with fear. "They killed my parents," she whispered. "They destroyed our home." Zara's resolve hardened. She would make Valker pay for this. She would avenge the countless innocent lives lost to his insatiable greed. After rescuing the survivors, the Hope continued its journey to the outer colonies. When they arrived, they found a scene of devastation. Entire cities had been razed to ground, and the skies were filled with the wreckage of ships. The Valkorians had already begun their assault. Zara knew that they were too late to save everyone, but they could still mount a defense. She ordered the Hope to join the remaining Earth Defense Forces in a desperate attempt to repel the invaders. The battle raged for days, with neither side gaining a clear advantage. The Earth forces fought bravely, but they were slowly being worn down by the superior numbers and technology of the Valkorian Empire. As the situation grew increasingly dire, Zara knew that she had to take a gamble. She contacted Elora, who had been working tirelessly to complete the quantum drive. "Elora, we need that drive ready now," Zara said, her voice strained. "We have to take the fight to Valker." "It's ready, General," Elora replied, her voice filled with excitement. "I've pinpointed the coordinates of Valker's homeworld. We can jump there now." Zara took a deep breath. This was it, their last chance. "Prepare for quantum jump," she ordered. "Destination, Valker Prime." The Hope shuddered violently as the quantum drive engaged. Space warped and twisted around them, and the stars blurred into streaks of light. Then, with a flash, they were gone. They materialized in orbit around Valker Prime, the heart of the Valkorian Empire. The planet was a sprawling metropolis, teeming with life and industry, but it was also heavily defended, with a massive fleet of warships guarding its skies. Zara knew that they were walking into a trap, but she had no choice. They had to strike at the heart of the Empire if they wanted to have any chance of winning this war. "Prepare for planetary assault," she ordered. "We are going to take the fight to Valker's doorstep." The Hope launched its assault ships, filled with heavily armed soldiers. Zara and Rex led the charge, their faces grim but determined. They landed in the heart of the capital city, engaging the Valkorians in a fierce urban battle. The fighting was brutal and chaotic. The Earth soldiers fought with a desperate courage, pushing back the Valkorians inch by inch. Zara and Rex led from the front, their skill and bravery inspiring their troops. As they fought their way toward the Imperial Palace, they encountered heavy resistance. Valker had deployed his elite guard, the most fearsome warriors in the Empire, but even they could not withstand the onslaught of the Earth forces. Finally, Zara and Rex reached the palace. They stormed inside, battling their way through hordes of guards. They reached the throne room, where Valker awaited them. The Emperor stood before them, his eyes burning with rage. "You dare to invade my homeworld," he roared. "You will pay for this transgression with your lives." "This ends here, Valker," Zara said, her voice filled with conviction. "Your reign of terror is over." Valker lunged at Zara, his claws extended. But Zara was ready for him. She dodged his attack and struck him with a powerful blow, sending him reeling. A fierce duel ensued, with Zara and Valkyr trading blows. In a distant future, humanity had spread across the stars, settling on many planets. The Earth, once a cradle of civilization, had become a remote memory, cherished but neglected. Colonies thrived on various planets, and among them was a powerful empire known as the Crystara. The Crystara Empire had expanded its territory aggressively, often conquering nearby worlds and exploiting their resources without mercy. The Crystara Empire was ruled by a Grand Council, but its might lay in the hands of General Lyra, a formidable leader known for her cunning strategies and unmatched combat skills. She led numerous successful campaigns, and her name inspired both fear and respect. However, there was something special about this mission. Deep in her heart, she felt the weight of her ancestors, the people of a planet called Earth. When news reached the Crystara Empire, a radical group on Earth known as the Earth Defenders, General Lyra knew that action was necessary. They were trying to reclaim their planet from what they believed was a stronger, evil empire. This radical group gathered brave warriors and thoughtful scientists, fighting for their home. They were determined to make the empire pay for its past wrongs and misuse of power. General Lyra, we have received reports that the Earth Defenders have a new weapon capable of destroying entire fleets, an officer revealed during the morning briefing. They plan to use it soon. The room went silent as the officers exchanged worried glances. Lyra stood at the head of the table, her eyes narrowing with thought. If they strike first, we must be ready, she asserted. Prepare the fleet. We will not let them take back what is ours. Days later, the fleet gathered in the skies above the barren moon of Arcus. Soldiers donned their armor, ready for the mission ahead. The ships, glimmering with the Empire's insignia, floated like sharks, hungry for the hunt. The anticipation crackled in the air, a mix of excitement and fear. A young soldier named Eli watched the commander, admiration shining in his eyes. General, do you think they could put up a real fight? Eli asked, his voice a whisper. Lyra turned to him, her expression serious. Never underestimate the spirit of a defender fighting for their world. We must be prepared for anything. As the fleet traveled to the darkness of space, the stars flashed by like distant memories. The general felt a mix of determination and doubt. She knew that her next move was crucial. The fate of the Empire was in her hands. Upon reaching Earth's orbit, Lyra was shocked by the sights below. The once green planet was scarred and polluted. There were pockets of nature left, but the majority was a testament to neglect and war. Her heart sank knowing that her empire had played a part in this destruction. Despite her feelings of guilt, she steeled herself for battle. Attention! Begin the descent. Lyra commanded. The ships roared to life, firing down toward the planet with precision. As they broke through the atmosphere, explosions lit up the surface. The Earth Defenders were well prepared. Their makeshift fortresses were surprisingly resilient, showing signs of clever engineering. Lyra's fleet had to contend with cannons that fired projectiles made for what looked like scrap metal, proving to be surprisingly effective. The soldiers landed and quickly formed a perimeter. Lyra led the charge, her sword drawn, ready to confront the enemy head-on. Her troops followed, the ground shaking under their boots. Eli fought beside her, inspired by her courage. They encountered band after band of Earth Defenders. Despite being outnumbered, the defenders fought valiantly. Their spirit was unbreakable. Among them, a woman named Terra emerged as a strong leader, rallying her people. You hit Earth first. Now we are coming for you. Terra shouted defiantly, her voice clear amidst the chaos. Lyra's heart raced as she saw the determination in Terra's eyes. Here was a leader who could inspire hope. The two women, one from the stars and the other from the earth, were now face to face, adversaries with similar qualities. As the battle raged on, Lyra's troops began to falter. They underestimated the defenders' resolve, and the Earth's warriors were relentless. Eli, braver than many, pushed forward, fighting with all his strength. But as he glanced at Lyra, he could see her struggling with the reality of the battle. General, we need a new strategy. Eli shouted over the noise of explosions. Lyra paused, her mind racing. She realized the Empire's approach had been brutal, and that brutality would not win the favor of the people. Instead of fighting to destroy, perhaps they could fight to listen. Hold your fire, Lyra suddenly commanded, raising her hand. The soldiers hesitated, confused. What are you doing? Eli cried out, alarmed. I want to talk, she declared, stepping forward without her helmet, revealing her face to the defenders. Tara's eyes narrowed. Why should we trust you? Lyra took a deep breath. Because I understand the cost of war, and I recognize the pain my empire has caused your planet. This isn't the way forward. Silence fell over the battlefield. The two leaders stared at each other, the tension palpable. After a moment, Tara nodded, signaling her team to lower their weapons. Then let's talk, Tara said cautiously. The soldiers from both sides stood down, and a tense truce was established. Lyra and Tara moved to a safe place, where both sides could see but not attack. I was ordered to obliterate you, Lyra confessed, looking deeply into Tara's eyes. But in witnessing your fight, I see a lesser empire amidst the tension. Let us create a new beginning. The two women discussed the past, the present, and what the future could hold for both Earth and the Empire. They forged a deal based on respect and cooperation, choosing partnership over war. As the sun began to set over the horizon, there was hope for a different future. Lyra returned to her fleet, a new mission ahead. The stars twinkled overhead, and for the first time in a long while, both sides could see a way forward. The message was clear. Empires rise and fall, but what truly matters is a connection between people.